Welcome to the Properties to Profit podcast. I'm Michael, your host. Excited to share with you my journey from a six-figure job to building a successful real estate business. Each episode will explore various aspects of real estate investing, from wholesaling and flipping to managing rentals. I'll share the lessons and insights I've gained, aiming to help you avoid mistakes and achieve your financial goals. Expect guest experts, valuable tips, and practical advice to guide you on your own real estate journey. Thank you for tuning in. If you find any value in this podcast, please subscribe, share, and follow me on social media. Let's turn properties into profits together. Hey guys, Michael here with Properties to Profit. And on today's episode, I wanted to talk about a property we just closed on out on the, I believe it was right outside of West Virginia, as close to the border as you could get in Ohio, over there in St. Clairsville, Ohio. And so what I want to talk to you guys about is how sometimes giving the seller the time they need is the best thing for them. So this street address for this property was 221 Lakeview. And this one was a long play on this one. They came into our system sometime in mid-2023. So a little bit over 500 days ago. We first went into contract on this property August 3rd, I believe it was, of 2023. We were in contract for about a month. We had it assigned, ready to close, everything like that. And then they started to really push back on us. They wanted to sell all of mom's possessions. So it was a daughter hoping her mom sell the house. And her mom was 93 years old. And so we said, hey, cool, how much time you guys need? And they're like, oh, a month. So we gave them another month, push back closing. Well, then closing came again, and they hadn't done anything at this point at all. So we said, hey, what do you guys want to do? And they're like, hey, let's delay it another month. And then unfortunately, mom got sick and we thought she was going to pass. And so they're like, hey, can we just lay low for a little bit? So we told our buyer, hey, you don't have to close on this thing. We refunded their EMD and we kind of went our separate ways. My sales reps went ahead and continued to follow up every month just to check in. All of a sudden, the daughter happened to be in Columbus, Ohio, and wanted to swing by our office. This was maybe 3 or 4 months ago. She swung by and said, hey, I think we're ready to sell. We found someone to auction off all the items. We're like, great, let's have a conversation. Well, another 2 months went by, had a couple conversations, and finally we're ready to sell. We agree on a price a little bit less than what we had it at the first time, but the market's transitioned a little bit, and prices had come down in St. Clairsville. So everyone understood. Well, we signed another contract exactly a year later, 8/7/2024, roughly. So a little bit over a year and like 4 days later. So we think it's going to be smooth sailing to the closing. Unfortunately, it was not. They wanted to take their time to close. They wanted to make sure all the items in the house were going to be auctioned off. They've been talking to an auctioneer for almost a year at this point and still hadn't figured this thing out. Unfortunately, my gut says this auction isn't going to go nearly as well as they think it is. I think they're expecting to get $50,000 to $75,000 from their home items, and I just don't see it working out as well as they're hoping. But we stayed in touch with them. We have a fantastic TC on our team named Ashley, who really coordinated with them, explained everything, explained the HUDs, and all of those things. When closing came, Mom was pretty emotional and didn't sign the first time. She wasn't ready to sell a house that she had lived in for 50 years. I believe she's 90 at this point. So she's lived over half of her life in this one house. And a good portion of that 50 years was with her late husband. So as you can imagine, this is a super emotional pool. And this is why wholesaling by yourself is so difficult, because this house took up a lot of our time. There's a lot of time and energy coordinating with the mother and the daughter and helping them through the emotional standpoints of this house. We've talked to the auctioneer and all of those things, and they are confident they're going to sell some things, but they're not confident they're going to sell everything. And just helping them understand that this is their best solution. They are now behind on taxes. When we started talking a year ago, everything was up to date, no issues there, but now they're behind on taxes. Mom can't live by herself. She's been in the hospital twice the last year because she's fallen. So just reminding her of those things. We need to get you to a safe spot. We got to get you to another place where you can live out your life and be the happiest that you can possibly be. If it wasn't for our RTC being able to contact them every couple of days And after the first closing, I got back involved and kind of walked them through what they were trying to accomplish and made sure they wanted to close. We told them, hey, we're okay delaying closing. We can wait another year if that's what you want. And it was very clear, no, we don't have another year. We just want some extra time after closing if we need it. So we had to assure them that, hey, this would be a possibility as long as you communicate. Now, we don't ever guarantee time after closing because some people want 6 months, 6 years, and we just can't promise that in this business, so we're not going to. And there could be some unforeseen circumstances that we can't guarantee it either. But we've always worked with someone who's willing to work with us. So as long as they give us some update and they're willing to pay a fair market rent for the area, we're always okay with that. And we've never had an issue overcoming that. So this one was a difficult one to get across the closing table. We set out 2 notaries to get this thing done. And the second time, I decided to stay on the phone for a half hour, explaining everything through with them, explaining the process, how this was all going to work, explaining the numbers to them, even though we had already explained the numbers before closing. So why am I sharing this with all of you guys? Well, I want you guys to know how difficult wholesaling is, and not every transaction goes smooth. And it's why you need to grow past the hustle stage so you can have a team solving these problems. We wouldn't have got this deal if I was just the only one selling. I wouldn't have had time to call a lead every month for over a year. I would have been focused on too many new deals, trying to get the next deal. And the other thing is sometimes doing the right thing and pushing the seller back, closing back, if that's what they want, is the right thing. It allowed them to get mentally prepared to sell this house. As long as you were there for them, ready to close when they are, you'll still get the deal. And price isn't the most important thing. I think we came down almost $9,000 on this thing, which they, truth be told, could have really used that $9,000, but we have to protect our profit margins if we're going to stay in business. We really need to be above a $20,000 average assignment. And this one was just at 21. So it was a win-win for all parties, but knowing that if we didn't have a team, we wouldn't be able to get this thing done. It's why I tell people, grow past the hustle season and build out a team. A team's going to help you get to the next level and accomplish your goals. And on top of that, you're going to do what's really actually super important for the sellers, is do what's best for them. In this case, not closing when they originally wanted and delaying the closing for them was the best thing. It allowed them to wrap their mind around actually selling this property that had been in the family for 50 years, around them to make sure that the auction of all mom's personal items were going to get done and that she was going to be able to recoup some of those costs, which were going to go to her living expenses in a new facility. And 3, it allowed us to close a deal when it was all said and done that had been in our CRM for over 400 days. None of that happens without a team. And that's all I want to really get away here, guys, is the team is so important. So instead of hustling for the next deal and going to buy something cool, man, hustle to go find another employee to help you out. Hustle to follow up with a seller and do the right thing. And so that you can be a wholesaling company that actually makes an impact on your community like we are here in Columbus, Ohio. Hope you guys found some value in this. Reach out to me via Instagram, realestatemike02. Look forward to connecting with you guys. Thanks. Bye. Thank you for listening to the Properties for Profit podcast. I hope you found today's episode valuable. If you enjoy the show, please subscribe and share it with others who might benefit. Follow me on social media for more updates and tips. Until next time, keep turning properties into profits.